So JP is an entrepreneur. He's you're currently at a demo day thing, right? Uh, Accelerator.
That's
Yeah.
correct. Still last
So
year of an accelerator I was a part of.
yeah.
So if it's a little loud in the back, that's why.
Well, you're working hard. So I'll just introduce you. Our next speaker is JP Vertil, co-founder of Gaia AI Copilot for Insurance. JP received his MBA from Stanford Graduate School of Business, and he was a president of the National Society of Black Engineers at Notre Dame, where he received a bachelor's degree. He led two organizations empowering Haitian youth, Education Haiti, which helps bring high school students enroll in U.S. colleges with full scholarships, and Push, which trains recent college graduates in employability before placing them in internships and full time jobs with local companies. JP's insights bridge AI's potential with strategic business applications. Please welcome JP Vertil to the stage. Oh, you just got muted. Or I can't hear you. Oh,
Can you guys hear me?
yeah, now I can. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I was saying thank you for the warm intro, Greg, and I'm very excited to be here with all of you today. I'm going to share my screen for a very short presentation. So just to set the stage, I'm going to talk about my background a little more, walk you through my entrepreneurship journey, and give you guys a few perspectives that I have around startups in AI and how I take up this piece in general. So let me share can you guys see my screen? Can you confirm, Greg?
Actually, no. Dr. Grossman is sharing screen right now, and I don't know how to turn it off.
Oh, okay.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the.
Multiple people can share screens.
Oh, really? Okay, okay. Try to share screen to current zone.
Cool. I can see it.
Okay, it's coming up. Yeah, it should work.
I just turned it up.
Yeah, yeah. Put it back on.
We're good now?
Yeah, we see it.
Perfect. Great. So, as Greg shared, I'm from Haiti. So, I grew up there and I left Haiti in 2010 following a drastic earthquake that caused me to leave. I went to Notre Dame from undergrad. Then I went back to Haiti afterwards, working for a startup in the energy space. So it was a startup manufacturing electric power meters to sell prepaid electricity. That was very gratifying work. I enjoyed what I was doing. It was my first exposure to the world of software engineering because I built a mobile app from scratch for that company. It was an internal tool, nothing customer facing, but it was very value additive to our workflows. So I wanted to get better at it. I went to a boot camp for a few months, learned the best practices of software development, and I became a software engineer from then on. Then I went to Stanford, got my MBA, graduated from Stanford last year. Ever since I moved to Miami, which is where I currently am based, and I've been working on my startup, Gaia. So I'm gonna walk you through just the journey of building Gaia. So the first iteration of Gaia was actually a car sharing platform. It was very similar to Turo or Get Around, if you guys know these platforms, except it was for students. So we launched at Stanford, basically enabling a student to lend their car to another student and getting paid for the transaction, and also making sure that during the trip there's insurance in case anything happens to the car. So we ran that venture for a couple of months. We had some early signs of minimal traction, but we quickly realized that it was not going to be a very scalable venture for a number of reasons. So number one, we found that the cost of insurance was very expensive, especially for students, especially those who are younger than 25, so our margins were very, very thin. Number two, it was a logistical nightmare. So imagine you get a car in a given spot. Then you bring it back, that spot is taken. Now you have to park the car somewhere a little far. So that's very inconvenient for the car. And the third thing that we learned is people have a certain attachment to their car. They treat it as their special jewel, as their baby almost. And platforms like Turo and GetAround, so our hypothesis is that they're able to succeed because they're able to cater to folks who are actually buying cars to make business with them. So these are micro entrepreneurs. So the bulk of their business is not actually catered to folks who are trying to monetize with their primary vehicle. But what this did for us is it exposed us to the world of insurance because again, we had to have insurance in place. So we had interviewed so many insurance professionals to understand what the best options for us would be, and that led us to our second venture. So the second iteration of Gaia was working with insurance agents to enable them to do car loan refinancing for their customers. So here's the idea: you call your insurance agent, one of the for insurance, of course, and at the end of the quote, they would use Gaia in case they active on your policy to say, by the way, in addition to your insurance, I can also help you finance a car loan to get a better rate or lower your monthly payment, whatever it may be. So we actually got some funding to work on this venture. We're backed by VC, we're your accelerator, and we also had a few angel investors who backed us for that iteration, and we ran with it for about a year, up until December of last year. And this also didn't quite work out for a number of reasons, primarily because the interest rates have been climbing and climbing and climbing over the past 2 years. So it's been very, very difficult to find appealing refinancing deals for customers. So our conversion rates were very, very low. So as a result, we had to pivot. But again, this second iteration gave us even more exposure into the world of insurance. Because to build this platform for product financing, we had to spend hours with these insurance agents. So we spent time with them, going to their offices, understanding their workflows, understanding the systems that they were operating on, you name it. So we really had even more exposure into the pain points, the real pain points that they were experiencing. And we were able to realize that a lot of the work that they do is very time consuming and very mundane. It's a lot of copying and pasting from one system into the other. So let me give you a more concrete example. If you call an independent insurance agent, so independent meaning they can work with as many carriers as they want. And you want to get a quote for your home insurance or car insurance or life insurance. So they're going to quote you with one carrier, let's say Progressive, and it takes them about 20 minutes to fill out the application. Okay? Because it's a lot of information. It's contact information, household information about your physical house, the dwelling, information about the car. So it takes about 20 minutes to fill it out. Or if at the end of that process you say the insurance premium is too high, you're going to go to another carrier and do the exact same process again. And let's say that they want to quote you with 4 carriers. So we have different options. So it can very easily take over an hour just to give you a quote as a customer. So it's very, very time consuming. So we basically realized that they were wasting a lot of time and not selling as much as they could because of that limitation, which led us to the next iteration of Gaia, which is the current one, which is Gaia AI. So now what we're our first drop, the first product that we built. It's a browser extension that is basically Google Autopaste but on steroid. So we have the ability to extract information from any web page or any document, you name it, and we can paste that information intelligently across the web. And we're using a number of tools to enable us in our work. So we're analyzing HTML of the web pages with LLMs. We're using computer vision in cases where the LLMs fail. We're using a number of vector embedding solutions to help us figure out the semantic similarity between different fields so that we can intelligently copy and paste with different agencies who are using it actively. They've been able to reduce their workflows by over 50% when it comes at least to the coding process. So just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an idea of what I've been working on. Now what I'm going to do is give you a little bit of my own humble thoughts around the AI space when it comes to entrepreneurship and investing. But I'll take a little pause in case there's any questions.
Oh, thanks a lot, JP. We we hear a bit of background noise, and it, but I think we were able to hear you. Um,
Okay.
maybe maybe let's give it like 5 more minutes. But could
Sure.
could you share with us like your most important lessons that you've learned since getting Gaia off the ground?
Yeah, sure. Of course. So I would say most important lessons is to really focus on the customer's pain points and not going with a polished idea that you're trying to pitch. For example, for the refinancing idea, of course we had done some discovery. We had talked to a lot of insurance agents. But at some point, we wanted it to work so much that we forgot to listen to it, right? So, especially because at that stage it was the first time that we were getting funding from a VC firm, and we really wanted to perform and be successful. So we got basically trapped. So I guess the key lesson here was whenever you're building a venture, make sure that you're patient enough, that you're doing good customer discovery, that you're not biased in the way that you're approaching the work process, so you can get valuable insights that will enable you to build an actual successful venture. So that's probably the biggest lesson that I learned building that. But I can go through a few other slides, Greg. Or are you guys still
Okay.
having issues hearing?
Yeah. Maybe let's do it in like 3 minutes. Is that is that
Okay.
gonna work? Okay, cool.
Sure, sure, sure.
No, I mean, do it now for
Oh,
three
like,
minutes.
oh, you want me to do it?
Do it now for 3 minutes. Yeah.
Right. So one thing I want to mention is, I guess, the approach of labeling a startup an AI startup. So number one thing to realize is most startups out there who claim to be an AI startup, they're actually AI applications, meaning that they're utilizing AI tools and solutions to be more effective in their work. There's nothing wrong with it, right? It's very legitimate. So it's absolutely fine for startups to be utilizing AI to be much more efficient in their work, but that doesn't imply necessarily that they're an AI startup or they're not necessarily an AI lab where you can do so. So I think the only thing that's important here is whenever an AI, a startup claims to be AI associated, it's important to make sure that they frame how they're utilizing AI in a way that is very clear so that there is no confusion. And likewise for investors, so a bit of a frustration for us as a team has been a few investors have been telling us that they would like to see, folks in our team who maybe have a PhD or deep expertise in machine learning, even in our very early days. So now at this point, we've been able to equip our team with people who are definitely very much AI focused. But in the very early days, we're still getting that pitch. So one thing to realize is you don't necessarily need to have a PhD nowadays, at least to start utilizing some of the tools that have been coming out, because AI has been made accessible so much that I really believe that it's a tool among others that is made accessible to any software developer of sort. So it's again going back to what I was saying earlier, it's just a matter of really understanding where AI is being used in the startup, not simply put the pain of requiring a team to have some very deep expertise when maybe there's simply an AI application that is startup. And the last thing I'll say is, in order to use AI as a competitive edge, so it's from my perspective, it's one of three things. Number one, either you have a data advantage, meaning you're building a model on data that is not accessible to others, or maybe you have an early mover advantage. You've been able to collect data very early on that you can then train your models on. Or you're not only using AI, your startup also has engineering complexity that works in conjunction with AI to deliver a solution that is not easily repeatable. So all this to say, if your solution is simply making an API call to ChatGPT, it's probably not defensible. So that's something to keep in mind when assessing or deciding to build a startup in AI.
All right. Nice work, JP. Thank you. Uh, Wishing you the best on the demo day.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
Bye.